The politics lead. There's a deal, or there isn't a deal. The Gang of Eight reportedly has a draft for the immigration reform bill, but one important political power player in the group is saying not so fast. Senator Marco Rubio's office released a statement on Easter morning saying reports that the bipartisan group of 8 senators have agreed on a legislative proposal are premature. So why is Rubio hitting the brakes? Here to talk about it, Jackie Kucinich, political reporter for USA Today, Emily Miller, senior opinion editor for the Washington Times, and Democratic strategist Morris Reid. We know bringing in new Latino voters is critical to the Republicans' plans for victory. So why is Rubio slowing things down, Emily?
Well, conservatives hear amnesty and they panic. I mean, the first thing that everyone has always said is secure the border. And no one has shown how we're securing the border. So now all this talk about how many people are coming in with visas, how we're going to move through citizenship, it's just way too premature. And nothing's happened publicly. It's been all behind closed doors.
And is that the problem? There hasn't really been enough talk about what conservatives say they really are most focused on?
We had several conservative senators send Leahy a letter last week saying that, we need to open this up. We need to stop doing this behind closed doors and start working out this stuff in public. And yeah, there's a lot of different things that aren't resolved yet with this legislation that, that they're going to have to hammer out in the next couple days. And so saying Rubio's comments aren't surprising when you have things like, is there going to be a border security option tied to a citizenship path? There's some disagreement over that still. So there's a lot to be done before this can be called a done deal.
A lot of this came after a New York Times report and Politico and others reported that big labor and the Chamber of Commerce had settled on a deal when it came to undocumented workers or low-wage workers coming into this country. Do you think that the people who are in favor of there being a deal are getting a little bit ahead of their skis? Like they're not, the votes aren't there yet, but they're so excited to wrap this up that maybe they got out there a little too quickly?
Well, big labor and the Chamber of Commerce don't have a vote. They don't decide anything on Capitol Hill. I know they don't sometimes understand that. What the problem is for the Republicans is that they don't know who's on first, who's on second, on third, to use a baseball metaphor. They're just very concerned and scared because the far right is starting to say, wait, slow down. We're not exactly happy, which means in the midterm elections, they may have problems. For the Democrats, we sometimes get ahead of ourselves, but look, the fact is this is going to happen, whether Republicans like it, Democrats like it, labor, Chamber of Commerce, something's going to get done because no politician can look the Hispanic community in the face in the next election and say, we didn't get anything done.
Let's go to the next topic. There's a war going on in the Republican Party right now, something of a war. That might be overstating the case, war, but between the Libertarians and the social conservatives. Rick Santorum told Politico over the weekend, look, the Republican Party is not going to change. We're not the Libertarian Party. We're the Republican Party. This comment comes after more and more Republicans have been coming out in favor of same-sex marriage, or at least in talking about how the issue should be downplayed. Karl Rove even said it would be possible that the Republican presidential nominee or a presidential candidate would be pro same-sex marriage in 2016. Are social conservatives, do they need to flex their muscle a little bit? Are the Rand Pauls of the world getting too much airtime?
Well, Rand Paul still, is pro-life, and he's, he is a conservative. And I think, conservatives are concerned. There is a battle over where the Republican Party is going next after losing 2 national elections in a row, and sort of where it goes next. And there's discussion, but this is always going to be a party that is pro-life, that is not for gay marriage. I don't see that changing in the near future.
Do you think that's true? I don't think anybody would dispute the pro-life thing, but what about the pro-same-sex marriage? It seems like there are more increasingly Republicans talking about how the party should at least not talk about it as much, if not embrace it. But
then you have people like Rick Santorum that say the absolute opposite, that these are our principles and we should talk about them all the time. So there is that disconnect, and this is what's going to make it hard for some Republicans to come out in support of gay marriage, no pun intended, because it is tough within certain facets of the party to accept this. And so it's going to make midterms hard. It's going to make 2016 hard. So
listen, there's principle and there's stupidity. This is borderline stupidity. This is going to happen. These guys need to be on the right side of history. The problem with the Republican Party is that it's too many people putting their fingers in the air and watching where the wind's blowing. Then you have the guys on the far right that are screaming bloody murder. They need to just really rally around the fact that this is going to happen. They need to really rally around the fact that they don't have an answer. They don't have a solution or a question. I said the other day, there's action and deeds. Right now, there's a lot of lip talk going on. People judge you by your actions and deeds. And every time you have someone like Rick Santorum who gets up there and says he is not a leader, he's not elected to anything, He needs to shut up and let the people on the Hill do their job.
Well, the people on the Hill do not, the Republicans on the Hill do not support overturning DOMA. They do not support the Supreme Court doing that, or the Supreme Court overturning Proposition 8. They believe that marriage is between a man and a woman. You heard Boehner say that last week overtly. So I don't see anything changing on Capitol Hill, and I don't see anything in the party changing. The only thing I think Ed Gillespie said yesterday on one of the Sunday shows, perhaps we will stop having in the Republican Party platform a call for constitutional amendment against same-sex marriage.
Position.
But one of the things is, I mean, they don't have a problem getting white evangelicals to vote for them. I mean, 79% voted for Romney, 79% voted for George W. Bush. I mean, they don't have that problem. They need to expand this.
All right, I hear the music in my ear. That means I have to put an end to this. But Jackie Kucinich, I'm Lee Miller and Morris Reid. Thank you so much.